The United States, the land of confusion. The United States is ground zero for the Mandela effect, where people remember things one way, but the facts say otherwise. Classic examples: Looney Tunes being spelled Looney Tunes, or the belief that the Monopoly man always wore a monocle. He didn't. These inconsistencies seem like small mistakes, but the sheer number of people who remember them differently is bizarre. The Mandela effect started gaining attention in the 2000s, named after the false memory that Nelson Mandela died in the 1980s. But it's not just trivial stuff. People across America swear certain events, logos, and even geography were once different. Why does this happen? Is it a glitch in the matrix, or just collective memory failure? Whatever it is, it leaves you questioning everything. The United Kingdom. History. Rewritten. The United Kingdom isn't immune to the Mandela effect either. Ever remember the famous Berenstain Bears being Berenstein Bears? A lot of Brits do, even though it was never that way. There's also the well-known incident where the British monarch, Queen Elizabeth, was thought to have once worn gloves with her wedding dress, but no, she never did. And here's the kicker. People swear that the original Tower of London had a completely different structure than it does now. These shifts in memory create confusion, and they're not just odd trivia. They make you rethink historical truths. Maybe there's more to the Mandela effect than simple misremembering. Maybe the UK holds a deeper secret. Australia. Down under, upside down. Australia, like most countries, has had its fair share of Mandela effects. Take the Sydney Opera House, for instance. Some people remember it having fewer sales, but now the iconic structure has its trademark number. Or what about the belief that Crocodile Dundee was always a blockbuster? It wasn't. The movie's success came later than many remember. There's also the missing state theory. Remember hearing about South Australia, when in fact it's never been the state people thought it was? These collective memories leave Australians scratching their heads. Could it be the country's relatively recent independence that's causing confusion? Or is it something else entirely? Either way, Down Under has its fair share of mind-bending mysteries. Canada, the geography that changed. Canada is known for its endless landscapes, but that doesn't stop the Mandela effect from sneaking in. The bizarre idea that the country's borders changed or that some cities appeared or disappeared entirely, like people swearing that Winnipeg used to be a coastal city, keeps surfacing. Canada also had some major events that people swear unfolded differently. Whether it's the colors of the flag, was it always red and white, or the belief that certain national parks didn't exist before the 90s, Canadians are often left to question their history. How did these widespread memories of change happen? Is it possible the geography of Canada was altered in some alternate reality? South Africa. Mandela effects on the continent. South Africa's connection to the Mandela effect isn't just about Nelson Mandela himself. Some people are convinced that the map of the country once looked entirely different, with borders changing dramatically in the 80s. There's also the case of the famous Springbok symbol, which many South Africans remember looking different, especially the way it was positioned. From the Mandela effect's very name to odd changes in memory surrounding the country's post-apartheid history, South Africa's unique position in the world leaves it subject to some strange memory shifts. Could there be more to South Africa's past than meets the eye? Or are these just misremembered details? India, a nation of memory gaps. India is not free from the Mandela effect. The Indian government's maps are a major talking point, with people swearing that certain territories changed position. The country's diverse history also plays into this. Many citizens claim that cities and monuments like the Taj Mahal were built centuries earlier than they actually were. There's also the urban legend of the missing river. Some remember there being a river running through New Delhi that's never existed. These memory distortions span cultural, political, and geographical lines. The scope of these false memories calls into question how our minds process information, particularly in a country with such a long and complex history. Russia, the mystery of the vanishing maps. Russia's history, stretching across vast territory, has been prone to Mandela effects. Maps are a major part of this mystery, with people remembering borders and regions in completely different shapes. Areas in Siberia were once thought to be islands or even connected to other countries, yet there's no evidence of this. Another interesting case is the famous Trans-Siberian Railway. Many believe it was much longer than it actually was, with some even swearing it passed through cities that never were on the line. So what's going on here? Could history and geography be far more fluid than we've been led to believe, especially in such a vast country like Russia? China, the changing textbooks. China's Mandela effects tend to involve history and textbooks. Many people remember the Great Wall of China stretching much longer or in different places than it actually does. There are also bizarre claims about changes to the appearance of famous Chinese landmarks, such as the Forbidden City or even Tiananmen Square. The most intriguing Mandela effect in China centers around the nation's ancient history. Some people believe the emperor's reigns were different lengths or occurred at different times than officially recorded. How do these memories persist despite the evidence? Is China's history being altered, or have these details just been erased from collective memory? Germany. From east to west, what's real? Germany is at the crossroads of Mandela effects, especially when it comes to its reunification in 1990. Some people swear that East Germany had different borders before the fall of the Berlin Wall. There are also conflicting memories about the reunification process. Many insist the wall came down earlier than it did or that other countries were involved in ways they weren't. Germany's fractured past makes it fertile ground for memory confusion, and these Mandela effects play into a broader historical shift. Could the reunification of Germany have altered collective memory, or are we just misremembering? France. The phantom changes. France, with its long and storied past, holds its fair share of Mandela effects. People often recall the Eiffel Tower being shorter or having a different color. There's also the curious case of the French Revolution. Many remember it taking place later than it actually did, or even with different leaders than the ones we know. These instances suggest that something in the collective memory is altering the country's history. Does the impact of revolution and world wars make it easier to manipulate memories? Or is it simply that some of France's most iconic moments never happened the way we think? Brazil, a country of shifting landmarks. Brazil has its own Mandela effects, especially when it comes to its famous landmarks. The Christ the Redeemer statue is a prime example. Many people swear it was originally facing a different direction. Similarly, the Amazon River is remembered by some to be flowing in a different course. Why do so many people share these memories only to be proven wrong? Brazil's vast, often remote areas may explain some of this confusion. The country's complex history and rapid urbanization make it a prime candidate for Mandela effects, where people aren't sure if they're remembering the past or just something that never was. Mexico, the elusive Mandela effects. Mexico, with its rich history and cultural significance, also has its share of Mandela effects. From historical events such as the Mexican Revolution to the very nature of its geography, things aren't always as they seem. For instance, people often remember the famous Mexican pyramids being taller or located in different places than they actually are. The ancient Mayan civilization also plays into these Mandela effects, with people confusing the dates or names of historical events. Mexico's rapidly changing landscape, both physically and politically, makes it ripe for shifting memories that don't always line up with reality.